So joining me now to react to Murdoch's comments is Tamara Holder. She's a former Fox News contributor who settled with the company after she reported that she was sexually assaulted by a Fox News executive. Tamara, thank you for coming on the program today. Let's go ahead and play in its entirety, including the question, Rupert Murdoch's comments.
How harmful has the whole raft of allegations about sexual harassment at Fox News been for the business?
It's all nonsense. There was a problem with our chief executive, sort of over the years, but isolated instance. As soon as we investigated, he was out of the place in hours. Well, 3 or 4 days. And there's been nothing else since then. Now, of course, but that was largely political because we're conservative. Now, of course, all the Liberals are going down the drain. NBC's in deep trouble, CBS, their stars. I think it's a very interesting subject we go into at length, but there are really bad cases that people should be moved aside. And there are other things.
But did it
which probably amount to a bit of flirting,
Tamara, your reaction?
Well, thank you for having me here, and I also want to thank Yashar Ali for his story where he got all of many of us to speak out. I want to be very clear here. I would not have been able to be sitting here to say what I'm about to say if it wasn't for Mr. Murdoch and what he said, because my settlement, in exchange for money, I had to agree to be quiet, except if I was disparaged or maligned. And because Mr. Murdoch said what he said, that 60 seconds has allowed me to speak out. So what I would like to do, this is not fake news, I want to go through the fake facts that Mr. Murdoch spouted out in that 60 minutes.
The first
to start,
one that
he says
I heard,
it was
Tamara,
all nonsense.
Yeah, and then I heard him say that within 3 or 4 days they fired Roger Ailes. That's not true. It took at least 2 weeks.
Well, right. But let's just start with it. I'll make this really fast. He said it was all nonsense.
We got time.
Okay.
Yeah.
He ruined Fox News, ruined people's lives. He ruined my life. I don't have a job in TV anymore because the place that he has secured down, like Fort Knox, allowed abusive predators to prey on women who just wanted to work. That is not nonsense. This is people's lives. He said it wasn't just Roger. Well, we don't need to name names. We all know that it wasn't just Roger. He said nothing more since then. That's a lie. We also know that Bill O'Reilly paid $30+ million to somebody, and then, of course, they rehired him after that. Largely political. I want to say something. I gave up my law practice to go to Fox News in New York, to work for Fox News as a Democrat, to be a sports commentator, a legal commentator, all of those things. I wasn't planted by Hillary Clinton or Nancy Pelosi. None of us were. We just wanted to work. And when we came out and spoke out, this had nothing to do with politics. This had to do with something that Mr. Murdoch knows every day, and that's called rights. He has rights. He's not worried about anything. He has all the money in the world. He's cool. He has billions. We just wanted to work. That's all we've ever wanted to do was work. And it has nothing to do with politics. He says that there were cases that amounted to flirting. Let me be clear. I had a man pull out his penis in his office and shove my head on it. That was not flirting. That was criminal. That was not sexual harassment. There are no, gray areas, whatever Matt Damon recently said. This is criminal. And I'm not the only case. There are just women who can't speak out. I want to talk about investor sentiment because really this was a conversation about investor sentiment. Either Mr. Murdoch is a liar or he's delusional and old and needs to get out. So if you're an investor, you need to decide, do you want your money with a man who has continued to lie to you for the past 20 years? Your money, hundreds of millions of dollars of your money has gone to settling cases with women over and over and over again. And we've been told that we have to shut up. And that's what we've done. There's just been a little bit here and there, but we can't speak out. And then he blames American lawyers. Well, as a member of the bar, there are plenty of American lawyer jokes. I get it. But let me tell you something. American lawyers don't want to be doing this kind of work. We want to be doing other things besides protecting women in the workplace, which is something that should just be a natural thing. And the last thing I want to say is that I don't want to be here talking about this. I want to be on TV talking about the things that, but we don't want, we want to talk about what we were paid to talk about on TV. That's politics. For me, it was law. I had a sports show. But I'm stuck here talking about this because there are people like Rupert Murdoch who continue to deny that we were abused, that we were just, our careers were destroyed and our lives were destroyed. And this is not political. This is people's lives.
I was thinking about how hard it must be to have to come on TV and talk about being sexually assaulted, as opposed to what you said you'd rather be talking about politics and sports. And I don't think Rupert Murdoch understands that you don't want to be out here talking about this.
There's something else about my agreement, and they'll probably sue me. My agreement said that I couldn't ever apply for a job at any Fox News corporation. I could never work for Fox News or any other place that Fox News owned. Here in Chicago, Fox News owns media entities, or 21st Century Fox. So I am now being punished on top of not having a career in TV. I can't even apply for a job because he allowed me to be abused in his workplace and didn't protect me. And I can't work anywhere now. There's something wrong with me. It's just pain on top of pain on top of pain. And then for him to say something like that, that's just so dismissive. There's so many women, Brian, who are hurting. We just want to work. Like, I had to do an MDMA illegal therapy to deal with my PTSD because I couldn't function. And thankfully it's helped me, but I just want to work. Like, why is he denying this? If he and Bill O'Reilly and everybody else, Bill O'Reilly's on Twitter saying this is political, that's their new line. If this is political, then let's take these cases to trial. I'm down. Let's open it up. You're the ones that wanted to settle. You're the ones that wanted us to be quiet.
You think Fox really might sue as a result of you talking today?
Well, I'm in violation of the contract, except for the fact that I legally have a right to respond if I'm disparaged or defamed. And what Mr. Murdoch said, in my opinion, as a lawyer, not as a victim or a survivor, as a lawyer, is that this gives me a legal right to respond. And I'm responding not for myself, but on behalf of every woman in America who's been abused.
And I'm so sorry to hear about the details of it. I've read about what happened to you in that office, but to hear you have to talk about it, I know how difficult it is. And I also know it's difficult to see Fox try to clean this up, right? Did you see Fox's statement they put out over the weekend? We can put part of it on screen, I think. Yeah. Fox came out and tried to do damage control and said under Rupert's leadership at Fox and with his total support, the company got rid of Roger Ailes, compensated numerous women who were mistreated, trained virtually all of its employees, exited Bill O'Reilly, its biggest star, and hired a new head of HR. By his actions, Rupert has made it abundantly clear that he understands there were real problems at Fox News. So that's what the company statement said, but that's not what he said out loud in the interview. There's a real difference.
There's a real difference. And remember, one of the other things that he did was he got rid of all of the women who were abused as well. And we're still without jobs, and we're perfectly capable. You don't have to like my opinion. A lot of people may not like what I have to say, or they may not like how I look on TV. I get it. But Roger Ailes was good at one thing, and that was finding talent and finding people who were good at their jobs, regardless of the other stuff. And Fox News paid me time and time and re-signed me over and over again, uprooted me from my law practice to New York, and suddenly when I speak out that I was abused, they don't want me anymore. And not only do they not want me anymore, I can't ever work anywhere again. So I would just, as a plea to other networks out there, I'm not making a plea for myself. I'll be okay, but hire one of us. It's nice that we're on to talk about this, but you have all of this talent sitting at home, dying inside. Like, we just want to work. Bring us back. Allow us to do what we did before we were abused.
Tamara, thank you so much again for coming on the program, for sharing this. I couldn't agree with you more.
Thank you so much for having me. It really means a lot to me.